Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for another card. Today I'm using my Peerless watercolors with this cute little baby party animals set that was just released by Simon Says Stamp. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp all my animals using the Misty in my grid sheet to make sure they're all aligned. Now all of these animals I'm stamping with some pumice stone distress ink because I just want a very light image. So I'm stamping off as well. So here I am aligning my pig. I'll ink it up with some pumice stone, stamp off, and then stamp it. And I'm going to do this with all the animals, and I'm also going to do it with the flag here and with the balloon. So pretty much everything gets the same treatment. And I also kind of rubbed a little bit off with my finger to make it look like the balloon was behind the paw. Now there was no party hat, but there was a cute banner stamp, so I just inked up one of these banner triangles with my pumice stone marker, which you can do. You can just stamp or color directly onto your stamp, and you'll get a pretty good image. And I stamp off, stamp again. And I didn't place it very well, so you can see I overlap the top of the monkey's head here, but it's really easy to remove. I'm going to take a very small brush, and I have just water on it, and I'm just going to brush some water on it, and then I'll take a dry tissue and kind of pull it up a little, and you can see that overlapping line is now gone. So I'm going to be using two different brushes. One's really thin, a 7000 round, and the other is a little thicker, a 322, I think. Now what I really like about the Peerless watercolors is that they're very good at layering. So you can apply a light layer of color, let it dry, and go back in and add some more color, and that gives you a little bit more control over your light and dark areas. Now when you're working in small areas like these animals that have a more defined image, so I'm not talking about flowers that can be a little bit more artsy and random, I'm talking about images where you really want to see depth perception and shadowing and things like that. I find that the technique that works the best is to apply water to your cardstock with a brush. So brush the water on, but you don't want it to pool up. You want it to be kind of a little bit more than damp. So you want to be able to see the water, but you don't want like puddles of it. And then you'll take your brush, and you don't want it to be too wet. You want it to be not loaded with water, but definitely with a little bit of water. You're going to need the water to actually get the paint off the Peerless palette. But you'll have not too much color, and drop it in and work it around. And I find that that's the best way to get good shadowing in these small areas. Now another tip here that I didn't really do very well is knowing when to stop. So especially with this pig, I just kept going on and on. I could not leave this pig alone. So you'll find me spending a lot of time on this one pig. And at one point it looks really, really good, and I wish I would have stopped, but I just kept going. And another thing you'll see me do, I'm doing it right now, is this black soot. So I just grabbed some black soot and I put it on my cardstock, and I'm picking it up with my brush. And this is just adding a little bit more darker shadowing. And then I also use the black soot to put the faces back on these animals. Alright, so I'm just going to go through the rest of this watercoloring pretty quickly. I sped it up a lot because I think I originally took about an hour and 15 minutes or so to create this card from scratch. And I was really taking my time with it because I was really just kind of enjoying coloring in these animals because they're so cute and fun. So I'm going to speed through the rest of this. I'll turn some music on and you can watch me color. Alright, now for the grass, I actually combined two different colors, grass green and olive green, two very different greens. For the animals, I think I just used one color for all the animals with the exception of the cat, which I combined a yellow and a brown together. So I kind of layered two colors there versus layering one color, then darkening it up with another layer. So here I just did all grass green, and then I went back and added in a little bit of the olive green. You can see my brush is sort of parallel to my tabletop, and I'm just applying a lot of water and letting it move around. Now I really wanted to use the birthday that came with this set, but I didn't put my animals high enough, so there wasn't enough space. So I grabbed this Happy Birthday to You from the Avery L handwritten note set. It was just the perfect size. I've been using this stamp set a lot for my sentiments. I don't know what it is, about something about the font and the way, the size of it, I don't know, but it fit perfectly here, so I used it. And then I had to find a new one for the banner because I couldn't say Happy Birthday on that one. So I ended up using this Rockstar from the Altenew Sentiments and Quotes set. And then I curled it on my block in the form of the banner that I had already done. And then I inked it up and stamped it just directly on my block instead of using the MISTI. I just had more control over curling the sentiment. And I was really nervous about this because I spent so much time watercoloring, but it turned out well, thank goodness. Now I went ahead and trimmed that panel back so it was a little shorter, and I adhered it to a piece of black cardstock. And then I wanted to mat it onto a piece of neutral cardstock because I didn't want to take away from the watercoloring that I had done. So I chose this gray cardstock that really didn't have much of a pattern in the background. So I adhered my watercolor panel to the center of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch folded piece of Neenah cardstock. And then I cut 1/2 inch strips of my pattern paper because I really hate to waste pattern paper. So rather than cutting 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and just matting the whole thing on the base of the card, I just cut the little pieces and then I trimmed off the excess. And that is the card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was kind of a lot of work, but it came out really cute. I love these animals. And anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.